My name is Akinshola Ogundiya, the Chief Executive Director of M Portal. I want to say to you that Clevernet TV is doing great. Keep on watching, and this is PIFAD. Thank you.
Again, standing beside me is Mr. Shola. Mr. Shola, you're welcome to Clevernet Open Project.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you with us.
It's a pleasure to be here and an honor actually to be at this event, and I think it's something worth giving accolades to, because it's something that we really need, as Africans. I think it's really giving a face, and a very good one at that, to Africa and Africans, not just in Spain but also in the diaspora. So I think it's a good thing. So I would say kudos to Clevernet, and thanks for having me here.
Thank you very much. Let me first of all ask you, what do you think we Africans are lacking in Western world?
Well, I mean, not just in Western world, but generally I think our identity. Okay, identity, because we really don't know who we are, and if you don't know who you are, you really don't know what you should stand for. Okay, so I think what is really lacking in Africans, okay, is identity. Identity of who we are and identity of where we are from. We are from Africa, but we really don't know Africa because we've not been able to discover Africa. Okay, so I mean, lack of that identity brings up so many other things like education. I mean, when I say education, I don't mean the Western education, but I mean the discovery. Okay, we need to discover Africa. We need to discover ourselves. We don't need to depend on what we are being told. It's something for someone to discover you. It's another thing for you to discover yourself. So I think that identity is extremely important and is lacking, is what we lack anywhere we are as Africans.
Are you saying is the same thing reflecting to the unity of Africans? Because we are Nigerians, we have Cameroonians, we have Ghanaians.
That's right.
You hear Nigerians say, I don't want to associate myself with a Cameroonian. Do you think that is one of the problems?
Yes, I think that is one of the problems, because well, why would you want to associate with someone if you don't know the importance of that person to you? Okay, and how will you know the importance of someone to you if you don't know who that person is? Okay, and also if you don't know yourself, you don't actually know what you stand for, as in what you can give to that person. All right, so when we talk about unity, listen, it's about meshing. All right, if you see my fingers meshing together now, it's not just this coming like this. Okay, they both open, so they need to be opened up and then come into each other. This gives a part and that gives a part. All right, so before we can talk about unity, we need to actually talk about the identity of every entity. I need to know who a Cameroonian is. I don't know if there is a Cameroonian living on this island. So if I don't know there is a Cameroonian on this island, how will I unite with that Cameroonian? How will I unite with the Senegalese? It's extremely important that we open up. Okay, so this is one of the avenues by which we can do that. As a Nigerian, I need to open up. I just don't have to be with Nigerians, but I need to open up to other nationalities. If you open up and other nationalities open up, then we actually begin to understand who we really are. It's not about the language. I understand that languages play a very good role, but it's not about the language. There are other things that unite people outside language. One of them is music. Nigerian music is sung everywhere in Africa. Do they understand what they're saying? No. All right, look at the Muslims. They don't pray in English or Spanish. They pray in Arabic, but they still all unite together. Okay, so language is not a barrier. I don't think language is a problem. I think what is really the problem is opening up our minds. Okay, when we open up our minds and we are open to assimilate and learn and accommodate other people, then I think that we can talk about unity.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Shola. There is another good question I want to ask you.
Yes.
You are familiar with the word Unidad?
Yes.
Familiar with the word Unidad? Like we have Unidad in Nigeria.
Yeah.
We have other in other countries, Ghana, Cameroon. Do you think it is possible for this union to be in one umbrella?
Okay, you're talking about the unions.
Yeah.
Well, the truth is unions are political, okay? And who forms politics? The people. So the only way by which all these unions can come together is if the people are together. And what actually forms a good union is the value, okay? What they value, what their objectives, their goals. So if they all have the same goal, if they all have the same objective, I think it's possible that they come together. But the problem always comes to the leader. Okay, we always need a leader. For example, Africa, what Africa lacks is a leader. We need someone to lead us, and you cannot lead if you don't have vision. Because how will I lead people if I don't know where I'm going to? Okay, so if we're going to have the African Union, maybe in Europe or in Spain, for example, or in Mallorca, then we need a leader, someone that has that vision and someone that can actually bring the people along. But like I said, those will be people that know who they are and they know what their goals are.
Now back to Clement Open Project.
Yes.
What do you see in the near future?
Well, honestly, I first of all want to say to Cleveland that this is beautiful. Honestly, this is beautiful. This is something that should be repeated. This is something that should also be opened to so many other parts of Europe. I mean, all Nigerians, I mean, all Africans, sorry. It's an African thing. I think it's something that should be promoted more than this. And, well, if possible, not too much of government getting involved, okay? Because I see this project as Africans coming together. The professor that spoke earlier talked about Africa. We see in Africa as the pueblo, like the community, all right? So it's like African communities coming together, and that should be the main objective. Let Africans come together. Let's talk as Africans. Let's look into the future. Let's define Africa outside the map that we've been defined by, but let's define Africa by our culture, by our objectives, by our goals and our visions. So I think this is something that Cleveland should go ahead and do, and if possible, I mean, personally, I would love to be a part of this in any way, in any capacity that they would want me to be.
Yeah, thank you very much. Final words. I want you to draw a straight line from the speech of the professor to the unity of Africa.
Well, I asked a few questions, okay. You know, like the professor said, he's Afro optimist, okay, and I am Afro. I'm not Afro optimist, okay. I mean, because I'm autocritical, okay. I'm Afro pessimist, like, because I always love to judge myself for my actions, okay. And I think that it's one of the things that we need to do as Africans. But the professor has said a lot of things. We need to go back to our culture, and like I said, culture is still like your identity. So the professor has said so much, okay. But like I was discussing with my wife, it's not about the talk, it's about the doing. All right, all those things the professor has said, thank God for Cleveland. We need to take it to the people on the streets. We need to take it to every African in their homes, not just saying it, but let it be known to the world. Let them know it, let them hear it, and then let us continue in that spirit, okay. We need more of those talks, we need more of solutions, we need more of action steps, okay. It's one thing for academicians to talk, it's another thing for people to interpret it and tell people. Because someone like me that doesn't really understand too much grammar or I want you to tell me what exactly you want me to do, okay. What should I do tomorrow? What should I do next tomorrow? How should I relate with this person? If you want me to unite with Africans, where do I go to? What events do I go? What associations do I join? Okay, so we need to break it down to those points, and I think if we start from there, it's going to be a long journey. So the professor said that the problems in Africa were not created in a day, and so we shouldn't think that they will be resolved in a day. All right, so it's a process, but likewise, I'll still pick from his speech. We should not be like the kangaroo, always moving back. All right, we should move forward. So when we criticize ourselves, when we are optimistic about ourselves, it should always be forward. Even when we fight, let's fight forward. Okay, and I think if we keep doing that, Africa definitely is the future.
It's a pleasure talking to you, sir, Mr. Shola. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.